Hands have plagued artists for many generations for their seemingly complex nature, but recently I've been doing a little bit of studying, aka reading a bunch of manga, and I realized if one artist figured it out or hundreds of artists figured it out, then there obviously has to be a trick, right? Or maybe a bag of tricks? That was corny. That was corny, but that's okay. Let's just roll the clip and get into the video. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Jordan here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I was able to level up my hand anatomy specifically. When studying anatomy, there are three things that I tend to do: plan, practice, and apply. So when it comes to getting better at drawing hands, obviously there is no difference there. So my plan of action for today pretty much was gesture drawings, basic shapes and structure, and then obviously refining your image. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I've been looking at a bunch of manga and the way that my favorite artists draw hands, or obviously Pinterest is another huge one that you could use. Google is also super great, and then I want to say Line of Action is another one that a lot of people use. Really, you just got to find what your preference is. Obviously, if you like someone's style, take that, Jones. That's like, I'm kidding. No, but if you like someone's style, just study it, and then obviously that'll make you want to do it more because you like that person's style. Something I've been doing recently when it comes to practicing in art is gesture drawing. Now, I know a lot of your other artists, like counterparts or peers or even other people you look up to, have talked about what gesture drawing is, and I honestly used to do it a lot, but then I stopped doing it. But here recently I've been doing it way more. So pretty much what it is you get yourself a reference image, then you get yourself obviously your tools, and you just draw. Now, the key factor of gesture drawing is that you never really look down at your page. You kind of just look at the screen the whole time and just give yourself just a bunch of loose, broad images on your actual paper. I find that when I do this, it kind of helps me understand how my brain and my hand is connected so that my overall shapes can just get better. Then also, it's a good way to warm up as well and not really put too much pressure on yourself to get anything right, because that's not the point of gesture drawing, in my opinion. Now, I did a bunch of gesture drawings on paper just because when it comes to digital sketching, I think it depends. Like, for me personally, sometimes I really like digital sketching, sometimes I don't. It just, the tablet feels kind of weird in my hand sometimes, so I'm just like, I don't think I'm really into the whole tablet thing today. In my notebook or in my sketchbook, I feel like I can be very imperfect, so that's why I chose to do my gesture drawings in the actual sketchbook, but you don't have to. You can do them outside the sketchbook. I'll do both. I'll do a traditional one and I'll do a digital one just to show you guys that you can do the gesture drawings traditionally or digitally. But today, by the end of this, you'll see that I did switch to my actual tablet just to go throughout the rest of the process, just because that's where I'm more comfortable. And I find that if you go where you're more comfortable, you'll probably get a little bit better, a little bit quicker. Now, one little trick that I've picked up when drawing hands is to turn all of your hands into mittens, because if you just look at the overall shape of a hand, it really does kind of follow a mitten shape, in my opinion. Everyone kind of looks at them differently, but no matter what the shape the hand is in, if you kind of just break it down into a mitten shape, I think it's easier for your brain to kind of see it later on. But that's also a little tip when doing gesture drawings. Just start with the overall mitten of the hand. And then later on, when you have your mitten shape, you can then break that all up into a bunch of little shapes to get the actual structure of the hand. Now, a lot of people, when they're breaking the hand up into these different shapes, they tend to use different colors, mainly because it's easier to keep track of them. So the base of the hand might be a different color from the fingers. Now, for me personally, I kind of break up my colors in layers. So the mittens will be the first layer, and then the shapes will be the second layer, which is a different color. And then the third layer, which is the final layer, will also be a different color, and that is the actual final refined image. I find that this way is kind of a bit easier, but honestly, do whatever you want. Everyone's a bit different. This is just the way that I think works best. Now, when refining the actual image of the hands, I find that taking note of the spaces in the hands rather than the actual hand structure itself helps a lot, because oftentimes I think as artists, we see things and we see the shape automatically, and that's important. But I also think the negative space and the opposite of the shape is just as important, and I often think if you can train yourself to see the space around the image, you'll probably get a little bit better at drawing what you are actually drawing in the first place. It's just like silhouettes, mainly. Silhouettes are very important, and I always talk about it just because I watch a bunch of videos and people always talk about silhouettes, so now when I make my videos, I talk about silhouettes. It's just important, just be mindful of the silhouette that the shape is making so that it doesn't get muddy and lost in translation. Now, applying what you learned, I think, is the most important step of this entire process. I'm the type of person where I'll watch something and it'll completely leave my mind and I'll probably never apply it. That's why I think it's important to kind of watch videos and read things centered around what you're currently doing, just so that you know when and how to apply those things. Now, also, I find with me, another way that I can help myself with applying all the things that I learned is kind of making it my own, where though personally I might not go through all of these steps when it comes to drawing hands. I might just go from mittens to final hand, or I might just do gesture to mittens to final hand, whatever, or maybe I'll just do a bunch of different shapes and then go to final hand and skip all the beginning stuff. It kind of just depends on what I am drawing. I think the more you practice, you'll find what works for you. And I think that is the most important thing when it comes to creating art is, yes, looking at all the things from all the people you admire and taking all of their tips and tricks, but then also kind of transforming them into something that works for you. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment, like down below. Tell me what you guys thought about the video. Let me know if it was helpful or not. Maybe give your own tips or tricks down in the video if you have any at all. Oh, also, go follow me on Instagram. Pretty active over there. I have a TikTok if you guys care about that. I don't know if it's getting banned or not. I don't know if TikTok is getting banned or not, but I do have one of those. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully it helped. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.